I can't possibly dine with such a shabby person. Go home." These words boomed from one of the mom friends I met at elementary school. As I leaned in to retort, the organizer of today's gathering stepped in. "Is that so? Then you should leave." Stunned into silence by these words, Lily, the mom friend who had been so loud, lost her voice. In a surprising turn, her misdeeds were exposed, and I was saved in an unexpected way. I'm Scarlett, 34 years old, a part-time working housewife. My husband and I married when we were 25, and we were blessed with our first child 2 years later. Now our child is 7 years old and happily attending elementary school. That's where I made my first mom friend in life. My child was in daycare, but I was working full-time then and had no mom friends. Once we reached elementary school and my husband achieved some career success, giving us more financial freedom, I started working part-time and took up parenting more actively. And that's how I started mingling with mom friends. Among these mom friends, I particularly bonded with Victoria, a woman 4 years my senior. She's a housewife, and her husband is a lawyer. She herself holds a law degree and has taken a step back from her career to focus on parenting. I admired Victoria's dignified presence and her firm demeanor. I never imagined becoming close friends with someone like her. Thus, I found myself increasingly drawn to Victoria's charm. Victoria has many other mom friends. She seems to enjoy being relied on and is currently active in the Parent-Teacher Association. One of them is Lily, a woman of the same age as Victoria. Lily, with her affluent appearance, often belittles us and other mom friends. Yet, even she seems to be grateful to Victoria. I've seen her fawning over Victoria numerous times. However, she seems to dislike me, perhaps because I've become close to Victoria recently. Whenever she spots me, she starts throwing snide comments. Like today. Despite boasting about only shopping at high-end supermarkets, Lily specifically comes to the supermarket where I work part-time. And for some reason, she always seeks me out to make snide remarks. "Hello, Scarlett. That outfit suits you. Oh, my mistake. That's the uniform for employees here, isn't it? The apron blends so naturally. Sorry about that. But then again, you're always dressed like that, so it's an easy mistake to make." Right off the bat, being greeted like this put me in a sour mood. But even if I wanted to retort, Lily was always decked out in designer wear, clutching her expensive handbags. It was as if she was saying someone like me had no right to talk back. All I could do was clench my teeth in frustration, in the bid to contain my irritation. "Can I help you find anything?" I asked in my standard customer service tone. Lily seemed displeased with that and glowered at me with discontent. "I'm a customer, you know. Such a sullen service. I've never been treated like this before. Well, maybe it's because I usually shop where they train their staff thoroughly." Hearing Lily's snide remark, I couldn't help but sigh. Then, she got even more upset and started shouting at me. "How dare you behave like this? Call your manager. I won't be satisfied until I've lodged a complaint." As Lily huffed and puffed, I frantically apologized, hoping to defuse the situation, but it seemed other employees had witnessed the altercation. The manager rushed out from the back and tried to calm Lily while asking what had happened. Lily ranted to the manager about my supposed rudeness and demanded my immediate dismissal. I had a sinking feeling this would happen, as Lily was known for making such complaints. Just the other day, she accused me over the phone to our office of intentionally tearing a bread bag during checkout and trying to sell it unnoticed. After a lengthy tirade, Lily stormed off with a huff. After she left, I apologized to my manager for the trouble. "It's tough having such customers, but don't worry, complaints are part of the job. Just keep doing your best," he said with a wry smile before returning to his office. I felt even more apologetic and increasingly irritated with Lily. Then one day, amid these ongoing issues, I was invited by Victoria to a lunch gathering. It was at a fancy restaurant, a treat from someone grateful for Victoria's help. I had never been to a fancy restaurant before, so I dressed up in my favorite dress of finer fabric, carrying an appropriate bag, feeling nervous yet excited. Dressed differently, I felt a lightness in my step and a joy just walking. Upon arrival at the restaurant, I was immediately shown to our table and realized I was the first to arrive. Apparently, I had arrived a bit early in my eagerness. As I waited in the serene atmosphere, unlike the restaurants I frequented, I noticed someone else arriving. Wondering who it might be, I turned towards the door to find Lily standing there. My face involuntarily tensed up at the sight. Seeing my expression, Lily approached with a smirk. "Oh, what a surprise to see you here. Came in leisure, did you?" Yes. Well, I was invited by Victoria." "Oh, really? How naive. You think Victoria actually meant to invite you? It's just a polite gesture. How embarrassing." Lily, taking advantage of the fact that no other mom friends were around, said such things while looking at me with a laugh. It felt like my earlier good mood was being ruined. Oblivious to how I felt, Lily, as usual, started with her sarcasm. "So, what's with that outfit of yours? Is there a problem? Well, isn't that a cheap, no-brand dress you're wearing? It's quite bold of you to enter this fancy restaurant dressed like that. You poor people are shamelessly thick-skinned. I would be mortified." Lily said this, smirking disdainfully while appraising me with a look that seemed to size me up. Clearly unpleasant, her behavior was too much to bear, and I found myself almost standing up in my seat. "I'm here today solely because Victoria invited me. I have no interest in speaking with you, so please leave me be." I snapped back with a voice filled with quiet anger, and Lily glared at me, probably thinking I was being impertinent. It was utterly frustrating. My defiance seemed to have displeased her, and Lily's voice grew even harsher as she berated me. "You're too poor to belong here, and I'm just suddenly trying to tell you. Don't you think it's disrespectful to Victoria, showing up in cheap clothes, looking all poor? Really, it's so distasteful. I can't understand why Victoria would bother with you." Overwhelmed by Lily's tirade, I involuntarily swallowed my words. Seeing my reaction, Lily became even more aggressive. "Shall I tell you why you're getting attention? It's because you look lonely and pitiful. Victoria is just too meddlesome. She can't help but take care of such people, but behind your back, even she speaks ill of you, calling you poor." I knew Victoria would never say such things, but the thought she might have was disconcerting. Still, I refused to be defeated and kept my gaze firmly on Lily. "Why do you dislike me so much? Is there a specific reason?" I asked, my voice trembling. Chest, puffed out with pride, began to spell out her reason. "It's obvious. Victoria and I are different from ordinary people. We come from wealthy families with certain statuses and honors. In contrast, you people are poor. We live in different worlds. Even Victoria is only putting up with it out of obligation, and deep down she must be utterly disgusted." Hearing such a childish argument, I was utterly dumbfounded and lost for words. Stunned by her words, I saw Lily starting to smile triumphantly. And then, as if it were her final word, she exclaimed, "I can't possibly dine with someone so shabby-looking. Leave now." Her words ignited a boiling anger within me. Just as I was about to respond, the restaurant door swung open. Standing there were the mom friends invited today, and Victoria, looking more furious than I had ever seen. "Is that so? Then you should leave." Victoria's words were as calm as ever, despite her stern expression. Lily stood dumbfounded at the sight of Victoria. I glanced at Lily, still surprised, and managed a greeting. "Good to see you here." "I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but it sounded like there was some trouble, and I couldn't just walk in," Victoria said, smiling faintly before turning a stern gaze on Lily. Lily gulped, visibly tense. "Thank you for coming, Lily. It's unfortunate that you won't be able to join us for the meal." "What do you mean?" "Just what I said." At Victoria's swift retort, Lily was left speechless. Victoria glanced at the flustered Lily and then asked me what the fight was about. Before I could speak, Lily hurriedly began to cover up. "We weren't fighting, really. We were just discussing today's menu and happened to disagree," Lily said, looking at me for affirmation with a "right" expression. I just returned her gaze silently. Then Victoria frowned, looking between us, and calmly stated that it didn't sound like a light-hearted topic. At that, Lily began to sweat, looking even more concerned. Maybe we were also discussing outfits. I'm quite particular about fashion, and might have gotten a bit carried away." Lily tried to appeal to Victoria, clearly desperate to get out of this situation. Unperturbed, Victoria calmly watched her. Feeling the pressure, Lily pushed me forward between herself and Victoria. "Victoria, look!" she exclaimed. "In this fancy restaurant, Scarlett showed up in a cheap dress. What do you think? It's inappropriate, right? I was just advising her to go home and change." Her words were much milder than when she had spoken to me, but they were essentially the same. Victoria, standing behind me, sighed exaggeratedly, sending a cold glance towards Lily. "It doesn't seem like an issue to me. But it's not even branded. And even her bag is cheap. I understand not having suitable clothes for such a place, but it's a bit out of place, don't you think?" Lily, flustered, received an exasperated shrug from Victoria. Victoria seemed disappointed at Lily's transparent lies, and then asked me, "Why did Lily tell you to leave?" I repeated Lily's words honestly. She said she couldn't possibly dine with someone as shabby as me. At that, Lily's face turned pale, and she lunged at me. "I didn't say that. Don't lie." "No, you did say it. Do you think Victoria believes that too? From your tone, it sounded like you thought Victoria shared your opinion." I retorted, and Victoria shook her head. To a seemingly incredulous Victoria, I responded, "Right?" offering words of affirmation. "Lily has often told me to stay away because I'm a nuisance to Victoria. What do you think about that? If I'm a bother, I'll refrain from future interactions." As I spoke, Lily's face grew even paler. "I didn't say that. It's a lie, believe me. I've been closer to Victoria for longer, so it's only normal to trust me, right?" Lily pleaded with Victoria, but Victoria only looked at her coldly. In desperation, Lily defiantly claimed, "There's no evidence." But it wasn't me who refuted her. "Is what Scarlett's saying true?" To my surprise, Victoria affirmed my side. Stunned by Victoria's unconditional support, Lily was also visibly shocked. Then, Victoria revealed the evidence. "I've been consulting with various mom friends about Lily for a while now. I've been gathering evidence that she's been targeting Scarlett." Victoria then showed her mobile phone screen. It displayed the incident at the supermarket, where I was being unjustly scolded by Lily and apologizing with the manager. The memory was vivid in my mind, as it had happened just recently. Lily, too, seemed to remember it, clearly agitated as she took a step back. "There's more. Here you are causing trouble at the same supermarket." The next thing shown was a photograph, seemingly excerpted from the security camera footage. How Victoria obtained it, I didn't know, but as a former lawyer, it must have been easy for her. The photo showed Lily poking a hole in a bread bag. The same bread Lily had called the office to complain about, claiming I had sold it to her damaged. I was astonished by the evidence and looked at Victoria. She smiled at me, as if asking what to do next, so I took this as an opportunity to confront Lily with Victoria's support. "With all this evidence, there's no escaping it now, is it?" Confronted by my words, Lily made a last-ditch effort. "What? All these evidences were gathered by Victoria, and now you want to steal the spotlight with them? Pathetic. That's just the kind of person you are." In defiance, Lily lunged at me while shouting. Even as she grabbed my shoulder with force, I struggled against her. Soon we were scuffling, and the mom friends around Victoria intervened to break us up. Even while being held back, Lily glared at me, her hair disheveled and breath ragged. "You've called me poor and shabby enough times, Lily, and you've even claimed Victoria said the same. Seems like you're the one who's been lying." Pushed to our limits, Lily uttered something that seemed to confirm my accusations. As we braced for another possible clash, Victoria stepped between us. "Lily, do you know harassment is a crime?" At those words, Lily's face went pale. "What do you mean?" And she was trembling with her voice. Victoria began to explain. "Complaints like the ones you've made against Scarlett can lead to charges of business interference or even criminal threats. Littering someone's property can be vandalism, and defamatory posters can lead to a libel suit. In other words, if it's proven that you've done these things, you become a criminal." Victoria said this with a smile. Seeing her face, Lily turned ashen and slumped to the ground, utterly defeated. Afterward, Lily was sued by various mom friends from the neighborhood and faced multiple charges. Victoria defended the mom friends. With ample evidence, Lily ended up paying settlements to the mom friends she had troubled. I, too, stood as a witness, having been one of those troubled by Lily. It turned into a much bigger ordeal than expected, leaving even my husband astonished. But surprisingly, I received a significant settlement, the amount of which was substantial due to the multitude of Lily's misdeeds. Lily's husband, fed up, filed for divorce and took custody of their son. He initially covered the settlement, but made Lily sign an agreement to pay him in full in lieu of alimony. In the end, Lily was left penniless and ousted from her home, unable to return even to her parents, working day and night to pay off her debts. With Lily's harassment gone, peaceful days returned. My relationship with Victoria remained strong, and our children continue as if nothing has changed. At my part-time job, the manager was thrilled to have one less complainer like Lily. I'll never forget what Victoria has done for me, and aim to repay this kindness gradually in whatever form I can.